Hello, hello, hello. What's up guys? Hope you are all doing well. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing well. Did I already say that? I think I already said that. I'm also doing great. So come in with a little bit of a different setup today. You may notice I am joined by the co-host, Sir Michael Scott right here. He normally sits right in the middle of my desk because if you didn't know already, I am a massive US Office fan. I genuinely have lost count of how many times I've watched the series through. I do think it's better than the UK Office. I do love the UK Office. I think it's brilliant. But for me, the US Office, it just can't be beaten. You know when it's like you've got like a comfort program where you don't even need to listen to it, you can just have it on in the background and you know what's going on? That's what the US Office is for me. That's the point it's got to. I will just have it on in the background. I won't even watch it and I'll still be aware of what's going on. But anyway, what did we come for? Why are we here? Training, right, that's it. So I wanted to dive into a little bit about how I changed my training to start getting better results. I put a photo up on my socials towards the start of this week now, which showed a difference over the past couple of years. And the biggest difference within that time has been how I approach my training. Because I've gained, compared to the previous picture, a significant amount of muscle tissue from where I started. But actually my training's probably been less over the past couple of years. And it's probably been simpler than it ever was when I first started. Now, before I go any further and before I forget, if you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it, all that jazz really helps me out, helps the channel out, and it means I'm able to keep bringing these longer form videos to you guys. So if you haven't done it, go ahead and do that. I will be making sure. Now, to give you a little bit more of a background, and I've spoken about this in the previous video, if you haven't watched the training goals video yet, go and check that out. But basically, I have done everything over the years, right? So I've trained your standard bro split bodybuilder, back and biceps, chest and triceps, shoulders, legs, that kind of thing. I did that for years. I've tried powerlifting programs over and over again. I've trained more athletic in terms of S&C with weightlifting, clean snatches, that kind of thing. I've done a lot of strongman training over the years. Might not look like I have, but I have done that with yoke carries, farmer's walk, atlas stones, log presses, that kind of thing. That was definitely actually my favourite style of training. It was definitely the most fun, but along with it comes a lot of niggles. So it might not look like it, but I have done a lot over the years in terms of different training styles. And honestly, I never got the results back from those different styles that I really wanted to be seeing. In fact, it wasn't until the last couple of years where my training approach drastically changed that I really started to see some regular significant progress. And we know that like building muscle is a long process, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It's not like dropping body fat where you can see visual changes week to week. In fact, in most cases when you're building muscle, you start to feel like you're looking worse, right? Because in order to build muscle tissue, naturally at least, you need to be gaining, or you're going to be gaining a little bit of body fat alongside that. So as you're building more muscle, you're gaining a little bit of body fat that actually tends to hide that new muscle. So you start to feel a bit bigger in clothes, you fill your tops out more, you look stockier around the chest, shoulders, arms and clothes, but then out of clothes, you might not be feeling great. But that is actually a sign that potentially something's going in the right direction, as painful as it is to go through. And what happened over the past few years, and even more specifically the past 3 to 4 months, was I stripped my training right back. Okay, so I went from doing loads of exercises in sessions, spending an hour and a half to 2 hours in the gym, training 5-6 times a week, to literally stripping this back to training for the most part 3 to 4 days a week, to only doing 2 working sets on exercises, to really just making sure I was covering all the basic movements. And when we talk about the basic movements, we literally mean you want to make sure across the week that you are performing a horizontal push, so like a chest press push movement, a vertical push, a horizontal pull, a vertical pull, some form of hip hinge movement, a squat pattern movement, things like that. They need to make up the backbone of your training. And then you can add in some accessory work, arms, side delts, leg extensions, that kind of thing, alongside that to really bring everything up together. But you need to make sure the backbone and those basic movements are in there to begin with. And then you just need to simply focus on progressing them. Now, one of the biggest reasons that I didn't see progress to begin with was I was only hitting them once a week. So I might do my chest on a Monday and then I'd wait an entire week until I trained my chest again. But the problem with doing that is depending on how quick your recovery is, if you're eating well and you're sleeping well, you're probably going to be able to train the same muscle group 2, if not maybe 3 times a week in order to try and grow that muscle. Now, if you're only training chest on a Monday, that means across the year you're doing 52 workouts, right? If you suddenly trained chest on a Monday and then maybe again on a Thursday, instantly across the year, you're doing 104 workouts on your chest. Now, you would hear an argument, you tend to hear an argument that, well, if you're doing it twice a week, you need to do less in one workout so you can train it in a second workout, and actually your total volume for that one session isn't any different, it's just split across 2 sessions. This is true, right? So you might have done 6 exercises for chest on a Monday, right? Which is a hell of a lot. You might then decide to do 3 exercises on a Monday and 3 exercises on a Thursday. And people will argue with that means overall you're not doing anything different, you're just splitting it differently. But here's why that isn't true, because if you were to perform 6 exercises on chest on a Monday, I'm willing to put a lot of money on the fact that by the time you get to exercise 3, 4, 5, 6, you're going to be pretty tired and you're going to be pretty fatigued. And actually your ability to perform those movements and progress your strength in those movements, it's not going to be very high because you're doing a hell of a lot of work before you even start doing them. Whereas if you take half of that workout and you put it over here with Thursday and we give it to Michael, let's say Michael can look after them here. You can't see him now. We'll keep him there. We put the other half of the workouts here. Well, now you're coming into the second half of that workout when normally you'd be really tired and fatigued already. You're coming in super, super fresh. You're coming in ready to go and you can really push those movements. So actually now, yes, you're doing the same total amount of work, but you're able to put more effort in. And surely if you're able to put more effort in, you're going to get more results and you're going to get stronger. And that's as simple as it is. And that's why we like to split this up across the week. And that's why I'm a big advocate of maybe a push-pull legs, an upper body, lower body, a full body style training, because it allows us to do exactly this and put more effort into each exercise across the week. So over the past few years, this is how I started to work. And I would break my sessions down across the week and it allowed me to put more effort into them and actually focus on getting stronger and stronger in those movements. What you need to ask yourself is this, right? Do you think that if you get stronger in a movement week on week or month on month over a long period of time, do you think you're going to grow muscle in that area? Chances are probably yes. So then it makes sense to try and focus on getting stronger. Do you think that if you recover properly and eat enough during that time, your chances of building muscle are going to be greater? Well, yeah, they are. So then it makes sense to focus on that as well. Splitting your sessions out, focusing on getting stronger, focusing on eating right and focusing on recovering. It doesn't need to be super long workouts. It doesn't need to be super fancy technical sessions with brand new exercises that you're seeing on social medias of people performing. It doesn't need to be overcomplicated. It needs to be focusing on those basic compound movements, splitting them properly across your week so that you're hitting muscle groups 2 to 3 times a week, and then focusing on progressing those movements as you go, right? Now, one of the best things that you can do to track that performance, to track that change that you might not be doing right now, and I didn't do for a long time, was to use a logbook. Because if you're not using something like that, I can guarantee you're going in week on week, session on session, and you're going to be trying to remember what it was you did the week before. Now, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to end up either using the exact same weight, or if you're not feeling 100%, maybe a little bit less. And you start going through this motion of just spinning your wheels, not really getting anywhere, not fully remembering what you did the week before, not fully remembering the weights that you progressed to, the reps that you were hitting. And I did this for a long, long time and I didn't really get anywhere with my training. But once I started tracking my lifts, once I started making a note of the weight that I lifted in a session, the reps that I performed in a session, it made the world of difference to my training performance and to my strength improvements. Because it started to give me targets. I would go into a workout knowing exactly what I was aiming to hit. Whether it was the same weight for an extra rep, whether it was the same reps for an extra little bit of weight, I knew exactly what I needed to focus on doing. And actually, it meant that I enjoyed the workouts more because I could physically see that progress being made. And it's like we spoke about before. If you can see your numbers going up on your logbook across the weeks, across the months, and you're getting stronger and stronger, and you're eating right and you're recovering, do you think you're more likely to build more muscle? Well, yeah, obviously. So then it gives you something tangible that you can actually look at and track and see to know that you're going in the right direction. And it's also a really useful tool to be able to highlight any exercises that maybe aren't working for you. Because over time, some exercises will plateau, some exercises won't agree with us, some exercises you won't just enjoy doing. So it makes sense because once you're tracking them and you can see, for the last few months, my weight's not gone up, my reps haven't increased, I don't really enjoy the movement, okay, then maybe it's time we get rid of it and we put in something else that might be a bit more beneficial. So these are really important and useful little things that you can use your logbook for to help inform your training and keep you moving in the right direction. It also gives you something to look back on. So you might have a certain training style for 2 to 3 months, and then you might change it up. You might change your workouts up for the next 2 to 3 months to keep it interesting and enjoyable. And then you might go back after that 2 to 3 months to the original workout style with the original exercises, and you're not having to try and remember what you were lifting at that time and how many reps you were doing, because if you're anything like me, you ain't going to remember that. You have not got a chance of remembering that. But this gives you something tangible that you can just get your logbook out, you can have a look, and you can say, right, 2 months ago, I was doing this exercise for X amount of weight for 10 reps, let's say. And you know exactly what you can do now to go back in, and you know exactly what numbers you can be aiming to be. So it gives you something really, really easy to read and really, really easy to progress. And it just stops you from procrastinating. It keeps you a little bit more accountable, because now you can't just go in and be like, I can't really be arsed today. I'll just go through the movements. I'm not going to put much effort in. It's just a tick the box situation to say I've been, and then I'll go home and not think about it. No, it means that you go in and you see, right, I can see what my targets were. I can see what I lifted last week. I know what I need to try and lift this week. I can't just sack this session off and put half my effort in, because I'm going to be able to tell next week. So it gives you a little bit more accountability. And this is literally exactly how I transformed my training over the past few years. My musculature, my strength has significantly improved. And that is purely down to these adjustments in my training, to stripping back, taking out all the overcomplicated fancy exercises that you really don't need to be focusing on, to make sure that you're focusing just on those core basic movements and doing them properly, making sure that you're putting effort into those workouts, you're tracking your progress, you're tracking your lifts, and you're just focusing on getting stronger week to week. And by doing that, and monitoring your recovery, making sure you're eating right, as we've spoken about, you are going to see more progress with your training and with your rate of muscle gain than you ever have. But it takes time, and you need to be committed to that process, right? So now that that rant is over, I thought I'd leave you with a few tips on how to perform a pull down movement properly, because I'm about to head into the gym. I'm going to go and train back. I'm not going to film the full workout, but I am going to be filming just a little bit of my pull downs to give you a few actionable tips that you can take into your next workout to really focus on connecting with your lat muscles, these muscles here, as much as you possibly can, okay? Number 1, picture your hands as hooks. You want to be focusing on pulling from the elbows, not the hands. You can use straps here to make this a little bit easier. Number 2, aim to drive your elbows down towards your hips. This is going to help you shorten the lat muscle as much as possible, getting a big squeeze. Number 3, don't be a dingbat and do this. You shouldn't be swinging backwards and forwards with that weight. No one's impressed by how much you're lifting, and you're only going to be cheating yourself. So keep it controlled and use points 1 and 2 to help improve your pull down movement. If you do these and you give this a go, you should see a significant improvement with how that movement feels in your lat and what you get out of that movement afterwards. Guys, as ever, I hope you enjoyed this quick little video. I hope you found it useful. Please comment below, like the video, follow the channel, and let me know what you want to see in the future. If there's content that you want to see, if there's questions that you want answered, just let me know. But for now, guys, from me and Michael, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.